Hello, everyone. Welcome to MNCPPC's Department of Park and Recreation's virtual health holiday nutrition series. Whether you're here for a workshop or cooking demonstration, get ready to experience a fun, interactive, and educational session. This evening, you will get nutritional tools and cooking tips for you and your family on how to enjoy the holiday season while maintaining your wellness goals. Again, welcome and thank you for joining us for our Healthy Holiday Nutrition Series. My name is Victoria Alexander, and I am a health and wellness assistant with the Department of Parks and Recreation. Before we begin, let's go over a few housekeeping items. You should see a microphone icon at the bottom of your screen, like you see on this screen currently. You will need to click this icon to mute yourself. We will ask that you remain muted to limit any distractions during the program. Next, I want to draw your attention to the camera icon. You will use this to turn your camera off and on. Please be mindful that when your camera is on, all participants joining us this evening will be able to see your screen. You have the option to keep your camera on or turn it off. Remember, we want to minimize distractions throughout the program and keep the focus on the presentation being provided. Next, I would like to show you how to pin a participant. To do this, you will need to click on the Show Participants icon. In the Participants column, select the individual you want to view on your screen, then click or tap the three dots icon to reveal a menu. From the drop-down menu, select Pin for Me. The pin participant becomes the focus in your view and only your view, regardless of the speaker. To unpin, repeat these three steps and select Unpin. Repeat the same process to pin an additional participant. And please note, if you are in a web browser, the PowerPoint presentation will be in a smaller window at the top or bottom of your screen. Next, I'd like to draw your attention to another Teams feature. You can also turn on the live closed captions during the meeting. To this, you will click on the three dots for more options. Then you can scroll down and find the option that says turn on your live captions. Then you will start to see captions at the bottom of your screen. You may choose to turn this feature on if needed. The last icon I want you to tell you about is a chat icon. This will allow you to ask questions throughout the program. To type a question, you will just click the icon like the one you see on the screen to bring up the chat box, and it should take you to what you see next. Next slide. Once you see the chat box, as you see on the screen here, there will be a space for you to type your question in. Hit enter and we will see your question on the screen. Please ask your questions throughout the program and there will be time at the end to answer your questions. We're looking forward to great discussion. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our trained professional for the evening. Rosaline Law's education has equipped her with extensive knowledge in holistic nutrition, health coaching, clinical herbs, and preventive health. Drawing on these skills and her knowledge of different dietary theories, she works with clients to help make lifestyle changes that could produce real and lasting results. Law received her training as a health coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition's Innovative Health Coaching Training Program. She also received training as a clinical herbalist from the Mid Atlantic School of Herbalism and the Smile Herb Shop. As a clinical herbalist, she can provide a complete assessment and recommend a customized herbal remedies for her clients. She uses her food, herbs, and exercise for healing and maintaining of a heavenly body. So please welcome Chef Ross.
Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, welcome, 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 welcome. We are about to spend one whole hour learning how to prepare two of my favorite recipes for the holiday. Two favorite recipes. Y'all know, listen, Christmas is what? Sunday. And so you just might plan to have my collard greens and cabbage, which is on this menu tonight, as well as one of my favorite recipes. Another one of my favorite is my curry black eyed peas. What? Curry black eyed peas? Have you ever heard of it? No, no. But I'm going to tell you a little story about my black eyed peas when I get to it. But I'm going to start off with my collard greens and cabbage. It's cabbage and collard greens. So what it is mostly cabbage, and then we're going to add some collard greens, some darker green leafy vegetables. So let's get started. We're going to get started, and I'm going to use my hot plate over here. First, I always let you know, I give you a little bit of a couple of tips. When you go to the grocery store in the produce section, you make sure well, listen, I know everybody's is not able to buy organic. So you just choose your fresh leafy vegetables, your all your produce, bring them home and wash them very well. Wash them very well. And you can wash them in some water and baking soda, some apple cider vinegar, just wash them down. If you don't have a vegetable wash, all right, then you're going to wash your hands all the way up to your elbows. Just wash, wash, scrub, scrub, scrub. And then you'll be able to get started in your kitchen, because listen, COVID ain't over. And not only that, but everything is out there right now. So we just want to make sure we keep everything clean. All right. So we have cabbage. Our cabbage. So cabbage. What is cabbage? What is cabbage? Cabbage is a cruciferous vegetable, right? And so on the subject of budget and money and how much food costs, I'm going to, first of all, we're virtual. And so it's just my husband and I. I don't need this whole cabbage. So I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to use half of it, cut it down the middle, and save the rest for another meal. It will last. You save the rest for another meal. And I'm going to cut up my cabbage. And so cabbage is a green leafy vegetable. It's in the vegetable category, right? And so that means that some of the benefits is vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K. It's got some chlorophyll in it, not a whole lot, because most dark leafy green vegetables, which is why I'm adding the collard greens. Your dark leafy vegetables has your chlorophyll in it. So I'm just going to cut up my cabbage nicely. And cabbage doesn't take really long. And we're not going to cook long anyway. Listen, gone are the days that we're cooking our greens, our green leafy vegetables all day, right? Gone are those days, period. So first I'm not using oil for this recipe. All right, we're talking about healthy, right? But it's going to taste good because we like what that tongue tells us. The tongue tells us, that tastes good. So we're going to use some vegetable broth instead of oil. It's just less fat. That's all. Just less fat. And so you will receive the recipes. You will receive the recipes after the cooking demo, or maybe tomorrow, but you're going to get them. I promise. All right. Putting that in there. Now, go ahead and put the cabbage in. I'm going to turn this down some. I'm not ready yet for everything to cook. You have and listen, you're going to make sure, Victoria, I want you to watch the chat for me, because you all can ask questions. Type in the chat and ask questions. This is not just me talking. I like to hear the questions. This is my collards. Collard greens, right? You only need, so listen, one bunch of collards costs like $2.90. Now these are organic, so they're $2.99 for a bunch. But at a regular store, non-organic, might be $1.79. Now, I just want to know, I'm just curious. Who eats the stem? Go ahead and type it in the chat. I want to know, do you eat the stems? And if you do or if you do not, I want to know, what are some of the benefits of eating the stems? Like what's one major part? Health benefit. And what are you going to get from eating the stem? Go ahead and type it in the chat for me. What are you going to eat? How are you going to benefit by eating the stems in your greens? How is it going to benefit your health?
Nicole says, yes, that she eats the stem, and the benefit of eating the stem is nutrients. And Julia said, I don't, but I know they're good for you. Joyce Grace said, fiber is the benefit of eating the stem.
Absolutely. So yes, I'm so glad to hear that some of you all do eat the stems. I do have a tip. If you don't eat the stems and you want to, and you need, because listen, everybody, who was that said fiber?
Joyce and Shirley both said
Joyce
fiber.
and Shirley. Absolutely right. And so the person that said nutrients, so fiber and nutrients. Fiber is nutrients, so nutritious. So you're going to eat the stems because of the fiber. And what does fiber do? I'm doing a little. What does fiber do? What does fiber do? How does your body react to a lot of fiber? I'm gonna get some more of these collard greens.
Joyce says, helps with elimination.
It helps with, and I like the way you put that, Joyce. It helps with elimination, that elimination process, right? Going to the bathroom for sure. Listen, you're supposed to go. Did you all know you're supposed to eliminate? I like that, Joyce. You're supposed to eliminate right after you eat, at least 15 minutes after you eat your food, every meal, every meal. So that means that if you might not be getting enough fiber, you might have some issues with your digestive system if you're not eliminating after every meal. So I have my green collard greens, and that's going to have a lot of chlorophyll. Oh, this is a tip. The tip is what you do is if you don't like the stems, because a lot of people don't like the stems, big old fat stems, you start chewing it. I mean, it's just dumb sometimes, right? So what you're going to do is chop them up very small so you can't see them. You just put them in your mouth and you don't even know that they're in there. They're just mixed up with everything else. All right. So that's a tip for you because you are eating to live. You're eating to live. So that means that you know you are fully aware of what you're eating, why you're eating it, right? So I'm just saying, if the doctor told you that you had to eat some stems of some collard greens, or else you're going to have a short lifespan, I think I'd be eating some stems, cut up or not, right? All right, next I have some red bell pepper. Now you can use green bell pepper, orange, yellow, any color red, bell pepper you can use. But I love the red bell pepper because the red bell pepper actually has a little sweet taste to it, especially when it's cooked. You know, when it's cooked, it has a nice little flavor. You know, I know many people that use bell peppers or peppers, period, just to put it in their food. They don't even know what it tastes like raw. You know, some people just don't know, and until you know. But let me tell you, a red bell pepper, in particular, the red one, if you cut them about 2 or 3 inches wide and you put some hummus on there, garlic hummus or any type of hummus, I'm telling you, it's a great healthy snack. Great healthy snack. Your bell peppers is your vitamin C, gives you your vitamin C and your beta carotene. So again, you're eating to live, eating to live. All right. So listen, and I'm chopping them up. I'm chopping it. And if you notice, what did I say about that budget? I'm only using half. Listen, plus not only that, I'm virtual. So I'm just cooking for my husband and I don't need to use a whole bell pepper. A whole bell pepper. Let me see, how much was that bell pepper? I think it was $1.29 or something like that. I'm just saying, you could chop it up and you can, if you have a whole one, you can chop the whole thing up and put it in a freezer bag and pull them out when you need them. Just give me some little healthy tips, some budget tips. All right, so that was a half. Bell pepper, red bell pepper, pretty colorful, right? Can you see this pretty good, Victoria?
Yes.
Awesome. It's pretty and colorful. I love it. All right, so now my onion, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to cut it in half because I'm going to use this onion for my next, my black eyed peas also. This is my little bowl over here. Yes, I'll keep a little trash bowl on the side. So I'm going to chop my onion. Again, I said you will get your recipes, but what is onion good for? Anybody know what health benefits you can get from onion? Go ahead and type it in the chat for me. Type it in the chat for me. What are some great health benefits by eating onion. What's onion gonna do for you? I'll wait. Oh, are they typing, Victoria?
Not yet. Not at the moment.
Nobody knows. What's an onion good for? Antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral. I know you all have heard of the old tale, what they call it, wives' tale, that you can put an onion in your shoe when you have a fever or a cold, and what will happen? It'll break your fever, right? The older people said that, and I truly believe it. It will break your fever. It actually will help with colds and flus and things like that. You can take an onion with raw honey and garlic, and cut up the onion, put raw honey and garlic in a jar, and let it marinate for some months. So you can do it maybe in June, and then you start taking a teaspoon of it, like right about now, when it's cold and flu season. And it would aid as a cough syrup, like a cough syrup will help you with your immune system. So onions are just amazing, amazing. All right. So what do I have in here so far? My vegetable broth, my cabbage, and my collard greens, just a couple of leaves of collard greens, and red bell pepper and onion. Now, my question is, before I move on, is name some, this is easy one. This is an easy one. Go ahead and type in the chat some different kinds of onions. I'll wait. Different types of onions. Type in the chat. If you know some different types of onions, some names of them.
Shirley
Go
said
ahead.
yellow
said?
onions. Shirley said yellow onions.
Yellow
Valdosta,
onion.
she also said Valdosta onions. Had Dugna
Wait a
said
minute,
white and
wait a minute, Victoria.
yellow.
Wait,
Renee
Victoria.
said Valdalia. Joyce said red. Shirley said white. Portia said, I think it's Vidalia or Vidalia.
Vidalia
And I
onions,
heard
yeah.
Bermuda. Renee said Bermuda onions.
I love it. Bermuda onions. I love it. Oh yeah, you going to? She must be from the Caribbean or something. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes. And one more. Shirley said pearl onions is another
pearl. Absolutely. Now, did anybody say? Because you know, Victoria, you kind of read that fast, so I didn't catch one. Did you anybody say green onion or spring?
No. Oh yes, Joyce just said spring onions.
Spring onions. Yeah.
Renee just said scallions, and Joyce also
so scallions and green onions and spring onions, they're all the same. Yep, that's just different names for them. What about leeks? Did anybody say leek?
No one said that yet.
Yes, leek is in the onion family. And then what about shallots?
Yes, Joyce just said shallots.
Yes, Joyce. Joyce says shallots. You are absolutely right. Shallots is in the onion family. And so onions are very, very good for you no matter which ones you eat. All right, so green, All right, so now the one thing that I do know, well, I know my mom used to do it. She used to put in her greens and cabbage and everything, all her vegetables. She used to put some type of pork, some type of pork or smoked something, right? Just for the flavor. So I've been a vegetarian for about 25 years now. And so I've kind of, moved away from that, eating the pork or the meat, but I do remember that smoky flavor. I do remember that because we don't forget. The tongue doesn't forget what stuff tastes like, right? So what I did was I found what you call, they're called bacon bits or bacons. So they're called bacon, Bacuns. And so bacons is the smoky flavor, kind of like give it that smoky taste. of bacon bits, right? But it's a vegetable protein, right? But it gives it that flavor. So I'm gonna put it over here. And so right about 2 minutes, it's gonna really start smelling really, really smoky and like right now. Smells so good. Giving that smoky flavor. Yes. And then so why wouldn't you want to use the pork in your greens? Or even that smoky smoked turkey? Because a lot of times they have a lot of sodium. They have a lot of sodium. And uh if you have hypertension, you don't need all that sodium, but still your tongue wants it to taste good, right? You want some good flavor. All right, so gonna use some garlic. Garlic. These are garlic powder. Now, no garlic salt. Now, tell me what garlic is good for. Health benefits from garlic. I know you all know that one. Your health benefits from garlic. I know you know, I know you know, I know you know. Oh, smelling some kind of good. Yes. I can't wait to eat my dinner tonight.
Renee said, asked the question, is it good for cleansing the blood?
Garlic? Try again, Renee.
And then Joyce asked, does garlic help lower cholesterol?
Try again, Joyce. Garlic. That's all right. I like it. I like you all are giving it a try. So I'm just going to.
Before you say, some people said two more things. Douglas said antiviral. Bonnie and Diane both said lowers blood pressure. And Renee said anti-inflammatory. And Douglas said antibacterial.
Okay, so absolutely. So definitely it's antiviral. So I guess you know that you can eat a garlic clove or just a half a garlic clove when you're sick, and it can actually help with the sore throat and colds and flus and things like that. So remember I said you're going to put garlic and onion in that raw honey, and it would be like a cough syrup. So yes, absolutely, antiviral, antibacterial for sure. But also, my ladies also was correct when they said hypertension. High blood pressure. Yes, it keeps your blood pressure down. It's cardio for the cardiovascular system. So that garlic is amazing. It will help keep your blood pressure at bay, like right where you need it to be. It also helps to keep the vampires away. That's what they say. That's what they say. I'm just feeling like a little jokey joke. So next thing is cilantro. And I'm using dry cilantro. Now you can use fresh cilantro if you like, but tonight I'm using dry cilantro. And listen, speaking of fresh cilantro, if you have fresh cilantro, if you've been shopping in the store for fresh cilantro, you know it comes in a big bunch. It's a lot of it. Nobody's going to use all that cilantro. Nobody. So what are you going to do with it? You're going to cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. You're going to cut it up. You can put it in between some newspaper or paper, or put it in a brown paper bag and let it dry out. Let it dry out. Crumble it up, and guess what you get? You get dry cilantro that you buy in the store that they look. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to give you some tips. All right. Now, I am going to use just a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt, just a little bit. Give it some flavor. That's me. I don't have hypertension. I can do a little bit. Also, what I'm going to, this is ready. Like I said, gone are the days that we're making, we're taking all day to cook. All right. So now, to cook your vegetables. Now, I have my spice of life, and because I'm eating it, it's not on the recipe. But what is on the recipe is a little bit of a pinch of cayenne pepper. So if you like spiciness, or you can put red pepper flakes in your greens, if you like that, then you can put that over in there. But I make a spice called the Spice of Life, and it just gives it a kick. It does have a little bit of cayenne in it, and so it gives it a little kick. But it also has turmeric and a little bit of garlic in there also. So put a little bit more. Spice of
Coach
Life.
Ross, there's
Something on
one
there that's
question
not
in the
right.
chat.
All right,
Um,
somebody has a
On
question.
the card? No, it's cool.
Make sure everyone's
Mm,
microphone is
Yeah,
muted,
it's cool.
please,
I always look at it. So
before whoever's mic is unmuted, please mute it, please. Thank you. Shirley asks, Ross, do you use organic spices, fresh or and dried?
I use all organic spices. I use all organic spices. That's just me. And to well, to that point, because what I'm a herbalist, and because I'm a herbalist, I get all of my spices and herbs organic in bulk, because I have an account with one of the best um, um, brands, should I say? I don't want to say the brand name, but yeah, so I get them in bulk. And I told you that because I don't want you to think that you have to go and buy organic herbs and spices. Because again, I'm all about budget, I'm all about saving, and I'm also about healthy eating and your healthy ingredients. So if I don't have something organic, I will run to the store and buy a non-organic oregano or basil if I run out, or cilantro. I will get it, because it's better to eat it um and then not to, than not to add it. So yeah, I don't want you to get stuck on that. But that was a great question. Yes, I buy my herbs and spices organic. So this is done. Is there another question, Victoria?
No other questions.
Okay, good. This is done. And I'm telling y'all, I'm so hungry, I could eat this right now. But I have to move on to my second favorite recipe. Oh, this is what I was saying. You do not cook your vegetables all day. How long did that take? It is done. You should have it. It shouldn't be soft where it just slide down your throat. It should be, you should be chewing it. You should have to chew your vegetables. It's 6:27. I'm right on time. All right. Let's move on over here. Yes. So, quick story. While I cut up my mushrooms, and while I cut up my mushrooms, I want you all to name some mushrooms. There are thousands of mushrooms, and I'm not kidding. There's a lot of different mushrooms out there that grow. But this one, I'm going to give you one. This one is shiitake mushroom. So that's what I'm using. Now you can use any mushrooms that you like, but you're going to get your mushrooms in. But I want you to go ahead and type in the chat just some different names of mushrooms, some mushrooms, if you like it or not. Some people don't care for mushrooms, but I want you to go ahead and type it in the chat.
Right, we
Let
have a
me see.
lot in the chat. Somebody
Okay, let me hear it.
Portobello.
Portobello.
Bonnie said portobello and oyster. Renee said cremini. Portia said oyster. Renee said portobello. Nicole also said portobello. Shirley said button. Diane said baby bella and white mushrooms.
Yeah, so white mushrooms and button mushrooms, they're the same. And as a matter of fact, the white button mushrooms is listed on the recipe. Because I had to put one, I couldn't put them all there, but I love them all the recipe. And listen, you're right, portobello, crimini, and I heard somebody say that. I heard someone say oyster mushrooms. Love oyster mushrooms. So let me just tell you, I made a marvelous mushroom soup. Dang it, I shouldn't. Did I call it a marvelous mushroom in my book? Anyway, I have a marvelous mushroom soup recipe. And I made it yesterday. It was so good. It had oyster mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms in it. And You know, it's cold outside. So right now is time. But anybody know any health benefits from mushrooms? Just one. From eating mushrooms, eating mushrooms. Anybody know? Go ahead and type it in the chat. Go ahead and type that in the chat. Because mushrooms can be medicinal. Seriously. Mushrooms. Ah, is it quiet?
Yes, it's quiet in the chat so far.
Quiet in the chat. Anybody know any medicinal benefits from mushrooms? All right, so mushrooms actually, certain mushrooms, especially your wild ones, can actually help with rejuvenating the cancer cells. So your cells, so you know when you get cancer, it's all about the cells. And so you want to rejuvenate those cells, and you can eat mushrooms raw. You can take mushroom supplements, but mushrooms are amazing for healing. Also, some mushrooms in a supplement can also help you with sleep, relaxation, and sleeping. So mushrooms are awesome. And so what I say, I listen. I did not like mushrooms, say 25 years ago, before I became a vegetarian. I didn't care for them, and the main reason why was because of how they look. You know how you turn them over and they look real black and hairy looking and kind of scary looking. And then I saw them, you know, as a kid, I saw them growing out in the yard, and you know, and they were scary because you touch them and they would just poof up. It was just crazy. So, but after I learned, I became a health coach, and then I became a vegetarian. I said, well, shoot, I need to be eating some mushrooms. Then I was missing chicken. And so what I found was the mushrooms, if you prepare them correctly, the consistency reminds you of chicken. I'm telling you, you can batter some mushrooms and put them in your, and put them, you know, make a mushroom. Oh, I made that mushroom soup. That mushroom soup was amazing. Amazing. It's all gone now. I ate it all. I ate it all. Anybody ever made mushroom soup? And then, you know, after you make the mushroom soup, you can make it really, really creamy and put it, remember putting cream of mushroom soup on top of chicken? I remember I used to do that. My mom used to do that all the time. So mushrooms are amazing. Right now I'm cutting up my red bell pepper. Putting red bell pepper over here. And listen, unless you're cooking for Michelle Obama or Oprah or somebody like that, just go ahead and chop. Listen, this is very good therapy. Just chopping. A lot of people tell me I don't care for cooking because I don't like the prepping part. They like the eating part, but don't like the prepping part. But it can be therapeutic. It can be therapeutic, especially if you know the benefits, the health benefits of this bell pepper. Oh, yeah, I'm cutting it up and I'm making sure that I'm going to definitely eat it. So, bell pepper. Then I have my onion.
Coach Ross, there's a question in the chat.
Ready?
Julia asked, have you ever tried mushroom tea? She says she has not
I
yet.
have. I have. So the question was, have you ever tried mushroom tea? Oh,
Yes.
yes. And what else? Did she say something else?
No, she said she hasn't tried it yet. She's just
Oh my
curious.
goodness. And so let me say this. So this is what I would think. That mushroom tea, like remember I just said it's calming and relaxing, right? So you have a nice, it's making me want to have some tonight. If you have a nice nice cup of tea, mushroom tea, and you put some cinnamon in there and make it really warming, like right now while it's so cold outside, our bodies crave a warmth. We want warmth. But what a way to take a nice hot shower or bath and drink a nice cup of hot or warm mushroom tea and sprinkle cinnamon in there. I don't actually have to have honey, but if you want honey, just sweeten it a little bit. Oh yeah. And you can find that tea in any health food store. Any health food store, you can find the tea. So I want you to try it. Who said that? Julia?
Julia, she said she's going to try it.
Julia, yes. Make sure you tell me what you thought. What you think? If I was right, I think it's going to be really, really nice. Julia, I'm telling you, you try everything I say. I love it. I love it. All right, so that's my onion. And then, so what else do I have on here on this recipe? Uh, Vegetable broth. So I'm going to start off with some vegetable broth over here also. It's a cup and a half. And we're using black eyed peas, 2 cans. So these are canned. These are from the can, but they are organic, but they're canned black eyed peas. And so what you want to do is rinse them really well. And I would say you need to go get your black eyed peas this weekend if you can, because they're going to be all out. And the only thing that's going to be left is the ones in the bag. And so that means that you got to cook them a long time. But it's okay because I'm about to tell you some tips about cooking your black eyed peas. So canned black eyed peas, that's what I'm using. And I use them. Oh, I make fresh black eyed peas. But the point is this: what health benefits are you getting from these black eyed peas? What health benefits? Go ahead and type it in the chat. Type away, type away, type away. What health benefits are you getting from the black eyed peas?
Diane said protein. Shirley said fiber.
Definitely protein, fiber, definitely protein. And so what do you give? Why do you need protein? Why do you need protein? Protein gives you energy. It gives you energy. So that's why a lot of people eat meat. They're like, oh, I'm getting weak. I need a steak. That's my brother. He likes to eat a steak all the time. But you can get protein from beans. So people like me, vegetarians and vegans that don't eat meat, get protein from beans. So I had to learn how to like beans. I wasn't a bean lady. I wasn't bean. I didn't grow. My mom made beans every now and then, like a pot of lima beans or something like that, and I did not like them. But let me tell you a story about these black eyed peas. Black eyed peas, every year for the new year, right? I know some of you can relate to that. New Year comes, my mother's from the South. Her mother, her mother's mother, her aunts, everybody said, you have to eat your black eyed peas. You have to eat at least a spoonful. I did not like them. I did not like them. Hands down, I did not like them. Because they cooked them, they had to cook those black eyed peas all day long because they did not look like this. They were mushy when it was cooked. It was mushy looking, and oh my God. And then they had a little black. I said, oh no, not for me. But they said, my my aunties, they said, you're gonna eat it before it eats you. You're not gonna move from that table until you eat those black eyed peas. And that was on January 1. So they had these dogs. It was like I was about 7, probably about 7 or 8, and they had these dogs. And I was the last one at the table, and they would walk by every now and then to see if I'm finished. So the dogs came in the house, and I chewed it and put it in my hand and gave it to the dogs. The dogs saved my life. They saved my life from eating those black eyed peas. I couldn't stand it. So when I became a vegetarian and I learned that I needed to eat beans, I needed to eat the black eyed peas, right? So I came up with this recipe, this marvelous recipe. I'm telling you, it's amazing. So my whole goal was to put everything in it that I can so that, I can taste some other stuff. So therefore, we have the onion, we have the mushrooms, we have some red bell pepper, all cut up and diced nicely, and the black eyed peas. Also, I'm putting tomato, some chopped tomato, and this tomato is canned tomato, of course. You got to get canned tomato. I'm putting it, and this is the one that has the oregano and garlic, that flavor, basil, oregano, and garlic flavored tomatoes. I'm not putting the juice in. You can put the juice in if you want to. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and put the juice in. Juice is good, especially when you're eating these beans over rice. Juice is excellent. Woo! Yes. So awesome. Smells so good. So, black eyed peas. All right. So, not only the black eyed peas are protein, you have some other beans. What other beans do you all like? Because we're eating these on New Year's, but I eat black eyed peas on other times besides New Year's as well. How about you? You all like black eyed peas on the other days? Or do you just get black eyed peas? The black eyed peas only come out for the holiday, or do you get them throughout the year? What do you think?
Mine said she's chickpeas and black beans.
Mmm. Lot
Joyce.
of protein. What's another name for chickpeas? Another
Garbanzo.
name. Yes, garbanzo beans. Absolutely. You can put those in a salad and you'll be doing wonderful. And then you said black beans.
Joyce also said black lima and red beans. And then
yeah.
Shirley said hummus.
Oh yeah, hummus. So hummus is made with garbanzo or chickpeas. Yes, yes. All right, so I put a little bit of sea salt in there. I'm putting some garlic, the garlic in there. Love garlic, great for hypertension. I'm putting some cumin. So you can put ground cumin in there. Why ground cumin? And I'm going to tell you about a couple of tips when you're using the fresh beans in a bag. Cumin, 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 cumin. Cumin helps with the digestibility. So that's one of the reasons why people don't eat beans. Some people say, I can't eat beans because it makes me have gas. It makes me have a lot of gas and I just can't take it, right? That means that you're not digesting it well. It's just going through some issues. Your tummy is going through some issues, your digestive tract. This is cilantro, adding cilantro. And then most of the time I do fresh cilantro in my beans, but I'm doing dry today. And I'm doing, just go ahead and do the rest of it. And let me stir it. So digestibility, that cumin is great for digestibility. Digesting your beans, it helps with gas. Also, when you're cooking beans, if you have issues with digesting your beans and gas, you can use bay leaf. You can put bay leaf in there, it helps with that. And also a little bit of baking soda. A little bit of baking soda, but that's most of the time when you are making fresh beans. Fresh beans. So let's talk about those fresh beans for a second. I'm about to tell you your tip. But before I do that, let me put the star of the show. This is the curry. The curry. Remember? It's called curry black eyed peas. Have you ever heard of such? That curry will take your recipe to a whole nother level. I'm just saying. Curry. That curry is amazing. Smells awesome. Smells amazing. Yes. Oh, that curry smells good. So right now, I'm loving black eyed peas. When I found this recipe, I was like too through with myself for sure. And I want to share it with you all. I want to share it. All right. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of my spice of life. It's not on the recipe. Again, it's not in the recipe. But because it's virtual and I have to eat it, my husband and I, just adding a little bit of spice of life. That'll give it a little kick. And I call it the spice of life because it has turmeric in it. It has garlic and it has a lot of beneficial herbs in it for the blood pressure, for inflammation. And then the cayenne pepper it just takes it wherever it needs to go to help with different things. Cayenne does. And that's that. But okay, so now this is a tip. If you're using fresh beans, bags of beans, first of all, if you bought if you have in your cabinet or in your cupboard bags of beans from last year or a couple of years ago, sometimes people go to the food bank and they collect food. So it'll be in a cabinet for a snowy day, right? Most of the time, those beans have expired. And beans are one thing that you do not want to eat that's expired because they get hard and they don't cook well and they can really, really mess up your digestive tract. That means that it can cause a lot of pain in your digestive system, right? So that's tip number one. Just go ahead and throw those beans away. Just don't even eat them because you don't want to be. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to have something tasting so good that's going to hurt your body, right? And give you bad results. All right. So we want to have good experiences when we're eating our food. Is that right? Good experiences. All right. So that's tip number one. Number two, make sure you wash your beans really well. Wash them a lot. Sometimes you can find rocks in the beans, and you'll think it's a bean, but it's a rock. So you want to definitely wash them really well and make sure you go through them so no rocks will be in there. Number three, soaking your beans. And I know you already know this, but some people don't. Somebody might be on here brand new to this. So you want to soak your beans. The larger your beans are, the longer you want to soak them, right? You get it? So your large beans, like your kidney beans, your garbanzo beans, your lima beans, even your black eyed peas, you want to soak those a long time. So most of the time you'll be safe if you put them in a pot, fill them up with water over top, fill it over top of the beans, and you let them soak overnight. You'll be pretty safe. But suppose you forgot to soak overnight and you're trying to eat them, you're trying to cook them the next day, just do them for about two hours. Like as soon as you think about it in the morning, or and let it soak, and then you'll be okay. But soaking them overnight, you'll be safe. But your little teeny beans, like your lentils, you don't have to soak those. The little teeny beans, you don't have to soak those. So you're soaking them. Now, one of the things that you must do when you soak them, before you cook them, strain them, dump that water out, pour them in a strainer, dump that water out, and rinse them really well. Okay? Because some people think that they can just go ahead and take that pot and go ahead and cook them. But if you notice, it's going to have bubbles. It's going to have little teeny bubbles on it. Like in the morning when you look at them, it's going to have some bubbles. And that's the gas that's being released in your tummy that you're feeling, right? So you don't want to drink that water. You don't want to cook your beans in that water that has those gas bubbles in it. So you want to rinse your beans really well. And then, like I said, while you're cooking your beans, you can cook them in a slow cooker or in a pot on the stove, however you desire. But you don't want to. Now, a lot of people add salt to the water. You do not add salt to the water until about 20 minutes before you're finished cooking them. Why? Why you think that? Oh, that's a long answer. Why you think you don't? Well, let me just tell you, because that's a long answer. The reason why you don't add salt in the beginning is because it will slow down the cooking process. And your beans won't get nice and soft and tender. And you want them to get nice and soft and tender. And I'm doing like this because you want to be able to squeeze it, right? And so that makes it a little bit better to digest. And then you want to use you can use your bay leaf, your baking soda, different things like that. Last thing is you can add, speaking of add, I need to add some more broth to this because I like my beans kind of soupy. Some people like them thick, but I like them kind of soupy because I like the juice to pour over top of my brown rice. Dang it, I was going to say something else. What was I saying, Victoria? I was saying
talking about how you like your beans to be. You're also talking about why you don't put salt in there at first.
Victoria, I know that. I can't remember what else. Dang it. Know that part. Soupy. I was saying water. I tell you, a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Mm.
I was saying, and I said, speaking of, I don't know where it's gone. All right. If y'all remember what I was saying, the last thing I was saying, type it in the chat. Ah, yes, but this smells so good. I'm going to have this over some brown rice. You can serve this again on New Year's, and I guarantee that you will absolutely love this recipe. You will absolutely love it. And so you have a little bit of time to go ahead and get it from the store. And if you buy fresh beans, then make sure you soak it and do everything that I said. I'm going to get a little bit here. So I'm going to taste it for you guys just because you can't. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to come around the table and I'm going to get some greens over here, my cabbage and collards. It's so pretty and colorful. You want your food to be nice and colorful, fresh and colorful. You don't want your food to look dead, and you want it to look fresh and colorful. So let me come around so you all can see. It's, I'm not ready yet. Looky. Yes. Does that look amazing? Nice and colorful.
Yes.
And you can imagine how it smells in here. It just smells amazing. Smells amazing. So I'm going to taste it for you. Mm. Mm.
Julia says looks gorgeous.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing. It's hot. It's heat hot. Temperature hot. So as you can see, I love these black eyed peas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different, it's just a whole different ball game than what my family's. Huh?
Oh, so Bessa looks good, and then Hadugna said, "When can we get a taste?" I'm gonna do that.
Who said that?
Hadugna. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. She asked, "When can we get a taste?"
I'm just saying. Next time I do it in person, we'll have to do it again in person. I don't know, not unless you live near me. Sounds good. Oh my goodness. Now, some brown rice is going to be awesome with this. And then you can have your protein, some baked chicken, or how about some turkey? Or what else do you all have on? Well, Christmas is coming, so you might have turkey. I don't know, some lamb or duck, anything, any protein would go. Some fish would go well with that. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I know you have to have some questions. Okay, I tell you what about a takeaway? Anything that you heard tonight, type in the chat something that you will remember, a takeaway from this particular session. Go ahead and type it in the chat for me. I want to see if you all are awake or alive. Let me put this in this cup.
Renee said looks great. Bonnie says recipes will come later. We will be sending you the recipes.
They want those recipes. I know that's
right. Portia said, taken away, don't add salt until the end. Renee learned how to dry out fresh cilantro. Beth said, learn to wash your beans. Shirley said, don't salt too soon. A question, Joyce asked, how are bacons made?
It's like a soy vegetable protein, the bacons.
Mm-hmm.
And in the store, they're in the salad section, and you will see it might be called well, it'll say bacons, but it'll say bacon bits, so that you can kind of get a flavor. But it's a vegetable soy protein. That's what it is. And you can now if you want that smoky meat flavor, then it's perfect. But if you don't have to have it, just omit it. Just leave it out of the recipe.
We're coming up on time. But other takeaways were eating the stem of greens, using broth instead of oil. That
Good
being
one.
such
That's
a
a
short
good one.
life.
That's a good one. You can use broth. And by the way, because I'm a vegetarian, I use vegetable broth and not chicken broth. But if you eat chicken, then you can use a chicken broth. But you have to really, really pay attention to the sodium count on, turn it over and look at the nutritional value, because some of these brands of chicken broth, even vegetable broth, can have a lot of sodium in it. Or you can make your own vegetable broth. I've done that. All you do is put a whole bunch of vegetables in a big pot, your carrots, your onion, your celery, different greens, broccoli if you want to. Put it all in a big pot with a lot of water and let it steam and boil. And then you strain it, and that's some vegetable broth. You can put, like, I'll put my spice of life in there to flavor that broth. Or you put garlic in there, definitely garlic and onion, and make your own vegetable broth. And then you can use it, just make a big container of it, put it in the refrigerator, and you can use it for several recipes. And that's how, that's how you save also. And how much sodium that you put in it. But they do make low sodium vegetable broth. That's the point I was trying to make. I just went all off on a tangent.
Last question was, where can we find the spice of life?
Oh, funny you should ask. No, that's on my website. It's Heavenly Bodies. My company is called Heavenly Bodies Live. Heavenly Bodies Live. That's all one word. BODIES. Live. HeavenlyBodiesLive.com. And you click on shop, and I believe Spice of Life is the first thing that comes up. The Spice of Life, and you can order it, and I'll ship it. It's shipped out to you. Thank you for asking. That Spice of Life is amazing.
Okay.
You can use it on all different things. All right. I think that's all we have. Anything else?
No, just a lot of thank yous.
I appreciate you all, and you all have a wonderful, happy, healthy holiday. And be safe, wrap up, stay warm, protect your immune system, boost your immune system. And I'll see y'all the next time. Hopefully one day I'll see y'all in person. All right? Take care.
So I want to thank you all for joining us today. Before we leave, I have a couple of announcements. So we want your feedback, so make sure you complete the survey we sent out to you in 24 hours to be entered into a drawing for a health and wellness gift bag. The program recording for tonight is also available upon your request. And in the video coming up on Thursday, January 5th from 6 to 7 p.m., goal setting and eating for My Plate virtual nutrition workshop will be occurring. So you can learn how to start at the beginning of any task by setting SMART goals and identifying what balanced eating looks like. But we thank you guys for coming again and hope you have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you for joining us for this virtual healthy holiday nutrition series. For more videos to help you make healthier choices, visit the Department of Parks and Recreation's online resource center at pgparks.com or the Health and Wellness Virtual Library at wellness.pgparks.com. Until next time, be healthy, be well.